is the result of Austria's legislative election in 2019, and as I've promised my very valuable 15 subscribers, by the way, I love you guys, we'll talk about the outcome. And in this video, I'll tell you why some of the parties are considered winners and the others are considered losers in Austria right now. Let's start out with the ÖVP. So the ÖVP received 37.5% of votes, which is a plus compared to the election in 2017 of 6%. There was a survey conducted as to why people voted for the ÖVP. Number one reason was the stance that they take on certain topics. And for that we need to remember what kind of topics did they address in the past when Sebastian Kurz was still our chancellor. So it was mostly immigration, integration, and they also reduced taxes, for example. And also they took a more tough stance on immigration. But the second reason was already the head of the party, who is Sebastian Kurz. And from what I've seen here in Austria, it was super obvious that he would become the new chancellor here in Austria again. Even the FPÖ had campaigns that had the word Kurz on their posters, for instance. And also, what I do think that Kurz does pretty well is he's pretty good at rhetorics and talking. And so he obviously is able to appeal to the masses. And another reason that was not mentioned in the survey why they gained so many votes was actually that many voters turned from the FPÖ to the ÖVP because in certain topics like immigration, their stance was rather center and right, and they also worked together in a coalition prior to that. So why did voters come from the FPÖ to the ÖVP? A major reason might be the Ibiza scandal that was huge, even in international TV. And so maybe you want to know what happened. On Ibiza, our Vice Chancellor Strache promised a niece of a Russian oligarch that she could actually get government contracts if in return the niece buys the Kronen Zeitung, which is our most popular newspaper here in Austria, and they would make positive campaigns for the FPÖ. However, all this was a trap, so I think the woman was just a Russian student, and so yeah, but that's actually what happened. Nonetheless, I still find it quite remarkable by how much the ÖVP had won, because you must know that the ÖVP was also not scandal-free. There was an instance where they shredded data storage devices. Well, it was not entirely illegal, but the way how they did it was kind of suspicious. Also, the party was hacked. In a German newspaper, you could find that the debt of the ÖVP has increased under the rule of Kurz, and that they paid a ton of money for advisors and things like that. But, so the ÖVP has won. So the FPÖ, not so much. The FPÖ is on a third position, but compared to the last election, they lost almost 10%. So we can say that the Ibiza scandal hit them kind of hard. And also many FPÖ voters not only switched to the ÖVP, many of them also stayed at home. That's what statistics shows us. The second strongest party in Austria is still the SPÖ, the Social Democratic Party, but they are also considered losers. So they lost almost 6% compared to the last election, and even the outcome of the last election was not great either for them, because we had a rather right-wing government, and the SPÖ, the Social Democratic Party, is rather left-wing, and they have been in governing positions for a long time. Anyways, so they were able to mobilize some voters that stayed at home in the last election, 2017. Nonetheless, many of their voters turned to the Green Party. Actually, the topic climate change was pretty important this time. You must know that Austria had a hot summer. There was this Fridays for Future movement. The climate is changing. Many of the voters turned to the Green Party because, well, the topic environment is something that the Green Party addressed since their foundation in the 80s. Anyways, and also what you might need to know is that Pamela Rendi-Wagner, her leadership, whether she can appeal to the masses, was often called into question, especially when she started out. And that's something I didn't see happening with other parties. That might not have been beneficial, but I didn't see it on statistics, so that is mostly my personal impression, and we don't want to mix that. And now we're getting to the second biggest winner in this election, which is the Green Party, which received 13.9%. Compared to the last election, this is a plus of 10%. However, what we need to say is that in the last election, they didn't even receive a seat in the National Council, and their result was pretty bad. But what they did pretty well this time was they could resolve this kind of internal conflicts. They had a leader that appeared rather likable. So, and as I said, the topic climate change was huge. And what is important is that particularly young voters seem to care about environment. And if only the younger generation would vote, the ÖVP and the Green Party would have received the same amount of votes. Also, they received a lot of votes from the Yes Party. Well, the Yes Party lost all its seats now in the National Council. And what happened with the party was actually that right after the election in 2017, the face of the party was accused of sexual harassment. And after that, well, it seemed like there was almost gridlock within the party. So there was not a lot happening anymore. And so they were more in the news because of this scandal. So this is what happened to the Yes Party. And now the last party that we want to address is the Neos. They received 8.1% total, which is a plus of almost 3%. So in some former ÖVP voters turned to the Neos. Why? It probably had to do something with the scandals that the ÖVP struggled with. And the Neos advertised a little bit of more transparency. And so in terms of economics, both the ÖVP and the Neos pursue more neoliberalism tendencies. However, the Neos are more socially liberal. And in this election, they also lost some voters to the Green Party that is also pretty socially liberal. I hope this gave you a rough overview. We also want to address what's up next here in Austria. Well, the next question is, like, with which party will the ÖVP form a coalition? This will not be an easy task because the ÖVP in the recent past has been rather center-right wing. Well, now it seems most likely that there will be a coalition between the Green Party and the ÖVP, and the Green Party, of course, is definitely way more left-wing. Of course, we don't know what will happen yet, so let's see. Might be interesting. So now I have questions for you. When is the next election happening in your country? And who is currently leading your country? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and soon you will know all about Austria. Stay tuned. Bye.